Okay, good morning. I'm here. I'm just here enjoying the day, and this is how I braided my hair. I didn't go to the salon, I braided it. So, let's see. So, this is how my hair came out after braiding, and I'm here to talk about something. There are things that in this world people have to think about. When people talk about where they came from, what they are doing, and what they are up to now, sometimes it amuses me, and sometimes I say, oh God, this is how you made the world to be. So, as I was growing up, I looked at the world and I was like, nah. And during that time, people were like, if if you had survived as a child who had no parents, what would you be? And I was like, when I was growing, I saw a life where you don't have a father, you don't have a mother, and you don't have real guardians who can direct you in this world, but survive on your own. So when parents die, sometimes God has a reason as to why He has sent them away from your life, and sometimes why He's having your parents around. So when I look at how people treat their moms and how my mom, my dad were, I really thank God for the life that I have, because I compare my life with how our parents brought us and how I've brought up my children. Many of you will comment and say, why do you have to compare your parents and you? So, growing up, it was not a poor family, it was a rich family. We could pray, we could laugh, but there are things that were taking place that I didn't like, and some that I liked. And I was wondering why I had why God had to take me in one of the schools. I was in Nyamitanga, St. Lawrence, but as a family, some were at St. Lucius and I was at St. Lawrence. And whenever would come from home when we are together. But when I reach along the way, I ask myself, why is it that all of them, they got St. Lucius, and me, I got St. Lawrence? It would trigger me all the time. But sometimes, because I was a prayerful person, prayerful kid, I would leave it there and continue with life. Then when I went to secondary school, it wasn't all that happy, should I say. But when I reached that school, I could ask God, please, let the term not end so that I can remain at school and I don't go home. And it was so good. Beginning of term, I would feel like I'm relieved. I would be at school, and when they say the term is ending next week, I would feel something like, why should the term end? But as time went on, I realized why God took me to St. Lawrence alone and others had to be in St. Lucia's alone. And me, when it came to secondary, I was asking myself, why was I leaving Mbarara then going to Rukunjiri? That was Immaculate Heart Nyachibali. And I would ask myself, why am I so here? Because it would be a time where there is no VD. People would get VD. Their parents would come, their relatives. But of course, I was not expecting anyone to come. So for 4 years, I never had a visitor. The visitors that I used to have, one day my sister became sick and we went to the hospital. We took her to Nyachibali Hospital. But when we reached there, in the ward, there was a lady who was sick, so I was washing her clothes, collecting for her food from the hospital. Because the hospital was providing food and she had no one to take care of her. So I was doing both, taking food for my sister and her in the same ward. So when they recovered, this lady would come. I don't still remember. I never asked her name, but for me I was calling her auntie. So when they recovered, of course they come out of the hospital, both my sister and the other lady. So she would come to visit me. That was in Form 1, but she would come every visitation day to come and visit me. She never had a lot. She would bring for me avocados, bring for me food, cooked food, and children would ask me, who is that one? And I tell them my aunt. But if you remember the girl who had a cyst in the same ward, I thank you so much. And another thing to remember, which I can say, I didn't ask for her name. I didn't ask where she was coming from. And I didn't even bother to look for her because we had those restrictions at school. And even at the end of the term, we had to move from Rukunjiri at night. I think we go up to Mbarara. So really, I thank you so much, Madam, for looking after me. After I had finished my after I had finished my senior 4, I went to another school in Masaka, and there I found an Ogi. That Ogi of mine, where she was in senior 6, I was in senior 2. But when I reached that school, she knew me, and she acted as my mom at that school for 2 years. I also thank you so much. I thank my godmother who would send me money, Madam Bagujira. Sorry to say your name. She would send me some pocket money. I thank my stepmother who paid for me school fees. And when I reached at college, I had friends who would look after me, but they never knew what I was going through, but they would help me in so many ways. Jessica, Jazz, and so many others. As life continued, I saw how God has been so grateful to me. I got married, I have children, And in all that journey, I have learned so many things in life that I need to thank God for. They say if you don't thank people, you're doomed. But I thank my pastors, my village mates, my friends who have been there for me. Madam Viola, you know yourself, Madam Mama Joash, Mama Sylvia, you know yourself, Charamande. Oh, people were so good to me, and I'm so grateful. Now, I came here to New Zealand. I'm here with my family, my husband, my children, and I thank everyone for the prayers. For the prayers. They say if you don't thank people, God will always thank them for you. But I really thank you for everything. My sisters and brothers, I thank you. My friends, my uncles, and if anyone finds this video, my mom, my grandma from the side of my mom was called Chahugira. I don't know her other name. My mom, Namnini Peleska, my dad, Kahima Thanazias. And on the side of my mom, if I know some people, I know Kagwa Dennis, Miriam, the brother, Ngapo, Thomas, all those. I'm doing this because one time I have to look for those people on my mother's side. Thank you. Chiche atonda village.